Alright, I've got something new, and I'm gonna break my #1 RTR rule. Stay tuned to find out what it is and what that rule is. Aloha and welcome to 9th Island RC. As you can see, got something new here, and obviously by the box you might have an idea what it is. For those in a certain Facebook group, you probably already know what it is. But as I said, I'm gonna break my #1 RTR rule, and for those who don't know what that is, it's something that you should be doing on every RTR vehicle. It doesn't matter what it is, but you should literally be going over everything. And by that I mean you're checking screws to make sure they're tight. Any metal to metal screws, you want to test those to make sure they've got thread locker on them. You want to check your shock and diff fluid levels to make sure they are properly filled. You want to check your mesh. That's a big one. A lot of people don't ever seem to do that. They don't check their mesh, and sometimes the mesh can be too tight. After they've run through 3-4 packs, all of a sudden they discover their pinion gear is as smooth as can be and has no teeth left. So definitely check your mesh. But as I said, I'm gonna break my #1 rule on this. So first thing we need to do is open the box. Now, as I said, most of you already knew what was in this box, or at least those who follow the Facebook group and those who also took a look at what the box said on the front. I mean, kind of the SBK was a little bit of a dead giveaway. So let's just kind of shove that up, take a look at this. And you know, as a lot of other videos have already pointed out, you know, Rlaarlo has definitely stepped up their game on this. The box is getting nicer, you know, showing that they are really trying to prove they are a great company. Now, I'm not going to do a normal unboxing for this. There are plenty of videos out there that have the unboxing. Don't need to do all that again. But what I do want to do is just open the box and want to see how ready to run this thing actually is. I mean, as most people know, RTR stands for ready to run, although a lot of us within the hobby have a joke that it stands for ready to repair. And in a lot of ways, that really is true. And I do apologize for the camera angle, might be a little off. Unfortunately, when I left the house, I did forget to pack my phone, and so I could not check the camera alignment. But let's just get inside. I love this just single pin and then the slide. Although the slide does look a little different than what I thought, because I thought it showed a single, like a tab, not double tab. So that's a little different. Interesting the way they've designed it. So if you look, you can see there's a smaller hole on one side, larger hole on the other side, and that does match up with the smaller tab and larger tab. Now, I do want to do a little surgery to this before I run it, and I know I said, you know, gonna run it ready to run it as is, and for the most part I am. But because, you know, they're including this tiny little 2200 milliamp out, you know, 3S pack, and so what I brought along with me is the 3300 milliamp 2S pack. Now, those who have owned previous Rlaarlo vehicles, you might recognize this. This is the battery that came with the AKA 917 as well as the AKA 787. It may have come with others, I'm not sure. But, you know, since I wanted to do, you know, since I do want to just do a little quick testing of this on 2S as well as 3S, obviously that means the ESC has to move, the battery tray has to be changed. So I'm going to do that little bit of surgery, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. Got the battery tray switched, except that we didn't. You're going to notice something, it's moving. And the reason is, so has been pointed out in a number of the pre-release videos, is that the stock battery tray has these captured nylon lock nuts that you need to remove and insert them into the new battery tray. The problem is, as I've discovered, is that when they put them in, they tighten them in, or it looks almost like they hammered them in at a slightly off angle. Literally they are off by whatever it is, 30 degrees. So whereas the points of the lock nuts should be the same as the points of the crevice, it's not. They're actually kind of in between. So I'm not sure how I'm going to get those out. Alternate obviously is to just insert some of your own lock nuts into there. So unfortunately that means for this quick little test I'm gonna have to run this with the battery tray loose. Thankfully, not gonna be doing any jumps or anything, just gonna be running it on flat ground, so hopefully it should be okay. As you can see, I've already got the 2S battery strapped in, and then we'll do the 3S battery. A couple of other things to note. Some things that have not been covered in the pre-release videos by, at least as far as I can remember, anybody who has done the pre-release videos. So first of all, the wing. Yes, you do have to attach it, but what they have not mentioned is that you're going to notice the wing mount has 2 sets of holes. You can actually mount it where it is, or you can mount it slightly further back. If I flip it over, you might be able to see this little plastic, so pushed all the way up against it, it mounts into these front holes, and if it's slid just a little bit back, you can mount into these rear holes. So you do have 2 positions. But other than that, she should be good to go. I know a lot of people have said that this thing is slow, and they've been running it on 3S, but honestly, on 2S, this thing is actually running really good just on 2S alone. Got some good brake, got a nice reverse. Let's see how it handles with the little S, a little slalom. Nice. And she does need a little adjustment in the trim, so that you can do simply by popping open the cover plate, and then so she's going a little to the right, so I'm just going to turn just a tad to the left and see how that goes. Gonna bring her right back to me and see how she oh yeah, now that is nice and straight. But honestly, now some people, yeah, they want a speed demon, they don't want to do speed runs, but they want a vehicle that is essentially as quick as a speed run car, which honestly I don't know. For general bashing, this is more than good enough. I am thoroughly happy with this. Seriously, this is running really nice. So let's go ahead and bring it on in and then pop that 3S in and see how it handles, differently, better, worse. We'll find out. Okay, so we got the 3S in. Ready to go. Okay, I'll be honest, I don't know what people are complaining about, saying that this is not fast enough on 3S, because this thing is definitely fast. And it is running the stock, I've not put in the speed gear. I have crashed, first crash. And let's just bring it over here just to take a look and see what I did. So, just got a little concrete dust on the front nose, and that's about it. I mean, it literally smacked right on the nose, just dead center into it. Nothing off to the angle, so that's good. But this is definitely not slow. I mean, I have not done, again, any speed tests, but I will. So, just so you know, in the next video, what I'm going to be doing with this, or I should say the next video with this vehicle, is I will be doing speed tests on 2S as well as 3S, using the stock pinion as well as the speedrun pinion. Okay, now that we got a little asphalt running, let's go see what she can do on some grass. All right, so here we are at a little park and got mostly grass. I mean, there's definitely grass, but there's also patches of dead grass. But, you know, this is definitely a much larger area than the parking lot. And another reason why I wanted to just, you know, get a little run in the grass is, at least the best I can remember, I have not seen any other videos showing running in the grass. I mean, I've seen on-road, I've seen some off-road track, I've seen dirt. I think I even saw one where they ran in the gravel a little bit, but honestly I can't remember having seen any where they were running in the grass. Now obviously, yeah, it's running a lot slower in the grass. You know, that you expect. You know, there's a lot more resistance on the tires, but you know, just wanted to get an idea of the general handling of it. So this is it on 2S, and now let's go ahead and just go pop that 3S back in. So we got that 3S in. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty darn good for running on grass. You know, definitely not slow. Definitely does cartwheel. I was going to take it out on a dirt and rock area, but because the battery tray is not affixed to the chassis, that's just something I'm not going to do right now. So for those who are hoping I might run this on dirt, rocks, whatever, sorry to disappoint you, but you know, I will do that, I promise. Just not today. You know, it's definitely got a race style chassis. It's not a pure basher. It doesn't have a plastic chassis. I know for example, the Arrma Typhon 6S has an aluminum chassis, but the 3S does not. It has a full plastic chassis. And that's why that is a bashing only vehicle, whereas the Typhon, you know, especially the TLR Edition, that is something that they released for race as well as bashing. This is to me, this is a 10th scale version of the Typhon, and interestingly, as some people have commented, if you look at the general body design, it does kind of resemble the Typhon. The only problem is that front end, and that is something I will get to in a minute. But for now, as far as I'm concerned, you know, the on-road test, outstanding. This short little grass test, also outstanding. So let's go ahead and get my final thoughts on this video. Or sorry, let me get my final thoughts on the vehicle in this video. Right. So what do you think of the StormBreaker, or as Rlaarlo officially calls it, the SBK10? Put your comments down below to let me and others know what you think of this vehicle. Now, I have not taken the body off, so I just did the clip, but you know, curious as to how much grass is inside from that little short run. And as you can see, not too bad, except for the battery tray that is now sideways. So let me go ahead and disconnect that, pull that battery out, and as you can see, it's actually not too bad. Overall, you know, I am extremely happy with this. Even with running on that grass, the motor is definitely cool. The ESC is definitely cool. So, what do I not like about the StormBreaker? I mean, obviously, I am definitely happy with it, quite pleased. But my biggest gripe, and I know some others have pointed this out, is just the front shape of the body right here. You know, it honestly, it leaves way too much open on the sides. I'm not going to pop it all the way down from the back, but you know, just having that huge opening in the front, that's a big design flaw to me. Overall, this SBK10 StormBreaker, I think this is an outstanding buggy. Well designed, other than the body. Yes, it's going to be a little heavier than your typical competitive buggy, but that's okay. Again, this is not intended to be a full-time race buggy. This is a basher buggy that can be used for racing. So, there you have it. The Rlaarlo StormBreaker SBK10. And even the suspension is outstanding. Until next time, mahalo.